I hope all of you had fantastic Halloween weekends. We had a Halloween party on Friday. It was great. It was awesome. First big event we've had in a long time. It was spectacular to see everybody. Then on Saturday, my kids went out trick-or-treating, and it felt pretty much like a normal Halloween. Now, there were still some houses set up where people said, hey, we don't want anybody coming close. There were a lot more houses probably that had candy outside on the front steps as opposed to people actually giving it away. But there were massive crowds of trick-or-treaters in my neighborhood, and it felt very much like a normal Halloween. Kids were all dressed up, excited to get out in their costumes. I hope wherever you are listening, your kids were able to have the same amount of fun, your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews, whatever you may be in terms of a family or relationship. I hope you had a fantastic Halloween weekend. Now, I know that a lot of you were not very pleased with how your teams played, either college or pro. And obviously on Monday during the fall, we go all in on football reaction. And right off the top, the final game of the weekend, Sunday Night Football, the NFC East is just atrocious. I know the Eagles won, but I can't imagine there's a single Eagles fan listening to us right now thinking, hey, you know what? We really deserve to host a home playoff game. And with the Dallas Cowboys, I know we've got the Dak issue. I know we've got the Andy Dalton issue. But what's happened with Ezekiel Elliott? I mean, he has turned into a below-average running back in the NFL. And I don't even know what the Cowboys do from here going forward. I didn't think they played atrociously bad. I mean, they bombed through some field goals. They had the lead for a little while. But I think I speak for everybody when I say we should really take away the NFC East playoffs bid this year. And we 1 billion% should take away their ability to host a home playoff game. Having said that, if you're an Eagles fan, you guys are in decent shape. I think you're probably the best of a really, really bad lot of teams, the likes of which we haven't seen for a very long time either. Now, at least the Eagles won because there's been a lot of praise. To me, the most interesting NFL game of the weekend was what happened with the Steelers on the road against the Ravens. And I think you have to sit back and ask the question, has Lamar Jackson let all the big game talk get to him and the failure in the big game? Because he played, I thought, against the Steelers like he was tight. Like he didn't really have the confidence and the panache that we have gotten used to him having. And I wonder whether we've got a little bit of a Peyton Manning when Peyton Manning was young factor starting to hang over Lamar Jackson a little bit. And what I mean by that is, for those of you out there who are young and don't remember the early days of Peyton Manning, everybody would talk about how amazing Peyton Manning was. And then whenever he got into a big game in the NFL, and trust me, I know it's an unfair criticism because you have to play really well to get into big games, right? When someone says, oh, so-and-so's not very good in big games, well, you are artificially defining what a big game is and only defining the games that they lose as the big game. In other words, it's hard to get into the NFL playoffs. You have to win a lot of big games to get in the NFL playoffs and be a highly seeded team. But Lamar Jackson has now never won an NFL playoff game. He's lost both times the first game he's played in the playoffs. And this season, coming off of the MVP season, when Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs came to Baltimore, that was a beatdown the Chiefs put on. And now when the Steelers come to town, they found a way to get a win too, and it was partly because of the poor play of Lamar Jackson. And so I'm wondering what's going on exactly with the Ravens. I think it's a fair question. What's going on with Lamar Jackson? Are teams starting to catch up with exactly what the Ravens like to do? They came back, the Steelers did, from a deficit. Used to be Lamar Jackson getting to play with the lead. It was impossible to catch him. Steelers come back from a 10-point deficit. I think you have to give a lot of credit to the Steelers over their ability to come back and win that game, to get to 7-0, but that's huge. In the AFC North now, the Steelers have a 2.5-game lead with 9 games to play. And now the Ravens have to go to Pittsburgh. It's a monster win, big swing event. Another couple of games. And I think there are a lot of questions about that as well. What in the world happened with the Tennessee Titans? And what in the world happened with the Green Bay Packers? A couple of weeks ago, felt like the Packers, if not the best team in the NFC, close to the best team. And the Titans, coming off that 5-0 start, looked like they were one of the best teams in the NFL too. Titans go on the road against the Bengals. Credit to Joe Burrow. A lot of questionable officiating in that game, I thought. But the Bengals find a way to win. Titans miss another field goal, throw an interception in the end zone, can't get off the field on third down, and the Bengals pull off the upset as the touchdown underdog. And then the same thing happens up in Green Bay. The Vikings have been competitive but lost a lot of close games all year. And then they go on the road against their division rival. And for the second time, I believe it's in 3 weeks, the Packers look very, very mediocre. And so who can you actually believe in as a good team in the NFL right now as we prepare to watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play tonight? I think you look around the NFL right now and you say, man, there are a lot of teams that we thought were very good that have faded. Now, one team that had a stumble there for a couple of weeks and now seems to have regained its footing is Buffalo Bills. They got a huge win, even though it wasn't pretty, over the New England Patriots. And I'm genuinely curious whether Bill Belichick is just going to throw up his hands and say, okay, it's time to go ahead and start making moves, get rid of some of this talent. Cam Newton, late fumble, feels like unless things turn around in a hurry for him, sitting there with the Patriots at 2-5, some of the stats that came out about the Patriots sitting at 2-5 and how rare it's been, that is, let me hit you with this. The last time the Patriots were 3 games under 500, Bill Clinton was president of the United States. Think about how crazy that is. The last time the New England Patriots were 3 games under 500, Bill Clinton was president of the United States. Kids today don't even know that the Patriots used to be the biggest laughingstock in the NFL before Brady and before Belichick. That's how long it's been, all the way back to the Clinton administration. Bill Clinton was president. But who do we actually believe in? Steelers, okay. I don't believe in the Titans anymore. I don't believe in the Colts. Certainly you believe in the Chiefs. So really in the AFC to me, the two teams that have not, I know the Chiefs lost to the Raiders, but the Chiefs have played a lot to the level of the competition. To me, the only two teams that haven't been exposed so far in the AFC are the Steelers and the Chiefs. What about the NFC? It feels like everybody has been exposed so far except for the Seahawks. So there's only 3 teams with 1 loss or fewer right now. The Seahawks, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think, honestly, those are the only 3 teams that I feel very confident about as we get ready for NFL Week 9. But first, we have to go ahead and obviously finish off the final game of NFL Week 8.